Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under your deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest we have committed to our church. Amen. Sergeant Atam, kindly ring quorum bell for the first 5 minutes. Honorable members, I'm not able to support majority leader or the whip, but I can see Honorable Benadega on majority seat. Kindly confirm if we have quorum.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have the quorum in the House.
Clerk, kindly take us through the order of the day.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable members. Order paper number 287 of Wednesday, 9th April 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, it is statement hour. Next order.
Commencement of business. Order number 8, adoption of the report of budget and appropriations committee on its consideration of Kisumu County supplementary estimates number 1 for the financial year 2024-2025 by Honorable Jakim Okech.
Yes, Honorable Jakim Okech.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I arise to present the report on consideration of the Kisumu County supplementary estimate number 1 of 2024-2025, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to inform the House that I will be using moving notes because the budget is a very large document. So I only want to report on areas that we had changes and probably give the reasons that necessitated this supplementary budget, Madam Speaker. So I will be somehow quicker and shorter because in this supplementary budget, we had very few changes, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, it is with great honor that I present the report of the County Budget and Appropriation Committee on its consideration of the Supplementary Estimate 1 for the financial year 2024-2025. This is in line with Section 135 and 154 of the PFM Act 2012 and Kisumu County Assembly Standing Order number 225, Madam Speaker, which provides the County Assembly consideration and approval of the supplementary budget. The supplementary estimate 1 was tabled in the County Assembly on Wednesday, 5th March 2025, barely a month after the House resumed from its long recess, Madam Speaker. The estimates were after committed to the County Budget and Appropriation Committee for consideration. The proposed supplementary budget, Madam Speaker, seeks to rationalize the approved expenditure of financial year 2024-2025 to align with the revised fiscal framework following the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024. That was Finance Bill revised due to the Gen Z protest, Madam Speaker. Based on the revised CARA 2024, each county government's equitable share was slashed with Kisumu County share reduced from, Madam Speaker, Kenya shillings 8,681,516,388 to Kenya shillings 8,405,328,573, giving a revenue shortfall, Madam Speaker, of Kenya shillings 276,187,815. And so due to that finance bill, Madam Speaker, Kisumu County lost 276,187,815. Madam Speaker and honorable members, overall, the supplementary estimate 1 for the financial year 2024-2025 is intended to, that is one, to rationalize departmental expenditure to address the adverse shortfall of equitable share revenue in line with CARA 2024 and other relevant laws, Madam Speaker. And two, internally realign budget votes, that is the vote heads within departments, while maintaining the budget ceilings as approved in the budget for the financial year 2024-2025. Madam Speaker, these adjustments in the supplementary budget, though impactful, they did not shift the programmatic and development focus of the county government as declared in the Governor's Election Manifesto, the CIDP 2023-2027, and as Annual Development Plan 2024-2025, and approved estimate, Madam Speaker. In the proposed supplementary estimates, the resource envelope available for allocation among the county sectors comprises of, that is one, equitable share of national revenue of Kenya shillings 8,405,328,573, supplemented by a deficit that I read earlier of Kenya shillings 276,187,815. Conditional grants of Kenya shillings 2,435,470,878, positively supplemented by Kenya shillings 288,923,866. By positively supplemented, Madam Speaker, we mean an increase of grants by that amount. Accounts receivable maintained at Kenya shillings 668,943,822, and opening balance maintained at Kenya shillings 515,170, and also revenue maintained at Kenya shillings 3,804,073,100. In this supplementary budget, the county government has revised its total expenditure to Kenya shillings 15,314,331,543. Consequently, Kenyan shillings 5,629,109,926 has been allocated for personnel emolument. And allow me to explain this, Madam Speaker. When we talk of 5.6 billion, we mean P&D for both the executive and the assembly. The reason why I'm clarifying that, in the previous document we were looking at the CFSP, I think most members were keen to note that what we provided in the current budget was 5.1, which was for executive. But now the overall P&D, including what has been supplemented, will grow to 5.6 billion. Madam Speaker, and then Kenyan shillings 4,441,281,547 allocated towards operation and maintenance, and Kenyan shillings 5,243,940,069 allocated towards development, and the percentages representing that is 36.8, that is for P&E, 29% for O&M, and 34.24 for development. On acknowledgement, Madam Speaker, the committee wishes to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for the support extended in fulfilling its mandate. Our sincere gratitude is extended to all departments, sectors, and the county treasury for honoring the invitation by the County Assembly to be part of this crucial process of reviewing the supplementary budget number 1 for the financial year 2024-2025, Madam Speaker. Again, I am highly indebted to the committee members, Madam Speaker, for their meticulous contribution, and our technical staff and the Secretariat for the extensive work undertaken in reviewing and processing of the supplementary budget number 1 of 2024-2025. So, Madam Speaker, in examination of the supplementary estimates, in processing this supplementary estimate 1 for 2024-2025, the committee held 8 sittings, including consultative meetings with the respective county departments and the CCM, Finance and Economic Planning and ICT. And pursuant to the provisions of Kisumu County Assembly Standing Order number 189 and 125, which requires the County Budget and Appropriation Committee to hold consultative engagement with various stakeholders, including the county government sectors, while considering county budget estimates and or county supplementary budget estimates. The committee formally invited all county sectors and departments for consultative meeting to deliberate on the proposed county supplementary budget estimate 1 for 2024-2025. And you can see Annex 2, the invitation letters that were sent to the various sectors. The meetings were conducted for 2 days on 1st and 2nd of April 2025. It is also important to note that all sectors attended this vital activity, and we have comprehensively consolidated and compiled all resolutions made during these engagements in Annex 3. That is the mother document of this report. On general observations, Madam Speaker, during the consultative meeting with departments, most departments reported expungement and a reduction of various expenditure outlines which had been committed and procured as at the time of preparation of the supplementary budget, and requested for their restatement retention to avoid accumulation of pending bills. We had most departments, Madam Speaker, that had, the expenditure had occurred at the department, but during the process of supplementary, we realized that the votes were expunged. There was generally poor absorption rate in the first half of the financial year, with an average performance of 31.4% of the total budget. The under-absorption of the budget was linked to the late exchequer releases, delay in preparation and submission of BQs by Public Works Department, and controlled authority to car expenditure issued by the County Treasury, contractors' apathy, delays in approval of County Government Additional Allocation Bill 2024, which faces litigation, Madam Speaker. Currently, I think there are bodies that are in court over the same. Status of disbursement, most donor funds remain uncertain and curtailed by the slugging process of national government additional allocation fund. And then besides, the committee has noted that the poor implementation of donor funded projects is mostly attributed by opaque consumption of projects, Madam Speaker, of projects, improper project or program formulation, and failure to provide requisite information during appropriation. Madam Speaker, we have what we call these donor funded projects, and then there are specific requirements. And this applies to FLOCA. I think the projects that we submitted were not in conformity with what was required in terms of the magnitude of these projects. So there were proposals that we revise the nature of these projects, Madam Speaker, which we will be presenting what has been revised for the members to approve. And members, I just want to inform you that the revising of this project is pending approval by this House. So it is not something that will be done by the department and then they expect us to just endorse. There's a list that we shall send, and I think the Committee of Water was in consultation with the department so that we are able to know what was revised, Madam Speaker. That is very important for the members to know. And Madam Speaker, in compliance with the provision of Section 131(2) of the PFM Act of 2012, the committee held consultative engagement with CCM Finance, Economic Planning and ICT from 4th to 8th of April 2025 in Nairobi to seek the input on the recommendation of the proposed supplementary budget estimate 2024-2025. Accordingly, most of our recommendations were endorsed by the CCM. And Mr. Speaker, the outcome of these deliberations has informed the various recommendations which are contained in this report. If approved by the House, these recommendations will form the basis for the passage of the first Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill of financial year 2024-2025. And Madam Speaker, the financial recommendations, and if you have the major report, it is on page 5 to page 7. And these are financial recommendations. Based on the deliberation of the committee and the consultative engagement with the respective sectors and the county treasury, the committee recommends this House. And members, this is very important because these are actual proposals that the executive will want us to approve for them. And these are the changes that actually affects the budget. And these are the changes that will affect the bill. And the bill is what consumes the money. So one, there is a proposal or a recommendation approves a total revenue of Kenya shillings 15,314,331,543 for the first county supplementary budget estimate for the financial year 2024-2025 as outlined in Schedule 1. And the reason why you can see this change is that this is money we expect from the national government, which of occasioned by CARA, and then 2, what we expect to collect as on source, Madam Speaker, and 3, what we get as grants. And I read earlier we had grants that we have been given more of what we had, and therefore that is why we are seeking the approval of the House so that we approve the total revenue to the county at 15,314,331,543. 2, approves a total county expenditure of 15,314,331,543 and requesting the House now to approve this amount of money so that the executive and both the assembly are able to spend it. And which is further segregated on the various expenditure components as follows. P and E, we request the House to approve personnel emolument at Kenya shillings 5,629,109,927. Operation and maintenance at Kenya shillings 4,441,281,547. And requesting the House to approve development component of 5,243,940,069. And 3, that the total expenditure allocated be appropriated amongst the various county sectors as outlined in Schedule 2. Now we are up, if the House approves the expenditure of 15.3 billion, we are now requesting the House that they approve 15.3 billion be allocated to different departments as outlined in the second schedule of this. And number 4, approve the proposed changes on the respective department expenditures in line with the revenue shortfall occasioned by CARA 2024 as presented in the 5th schedule if you have the mother report. So what all the recommendation 4 means is that there are internal movements within the department, which I'm going to read. And the committee is requesting the House to approve the different changes of ceilings within the departments as I will read. On trade, Madam Speaker, and these are consideration of departmental request for reallocation, supplementary funding to meet expenditures. These are different requests that were made by different departments. Those who are asking for different monies to be given to their departments, changes that different departments will want to make in their budgets. The departments are asking through the committee so that the members are able to approve these changes for them. On trade, tourism, marketing, and industry, Madam Speaker, the following recurrent projects categorized under the departmental development projects appearing as project number 3, 10, and 12 be reappropriated under the recurrent budget for effective implementation and funding. Madam Speaker, these are projects that are recurrent in nature, but were budgeted for as development projects. So the department is not able to spend this money because the projects are recurrent, but now they are not able to spend the money that is on development. So the Department of Trade, Tourism and Marketing and Industry is requesting this House that we move these monies, and they are affecting 3 wards. That is North Nyakach. There's a project called Capacity Building, Training and Entrepreneurship, 2 million. Market Milimani, Training and Capacity Building on Entrepreneurship, 2 million. And then West Nyakach, Capacity Building and Training on Entrepreneurship for Traders, also 2 million. The department is requesting that we move the money from development so that the projects are done under recurrent and they are able to spend the money. Thank you. The total is 6 million. Under medical service, public health and sanitation, they are requesting the House that the allocation for hire of transport, which is Kenya shillings 10 million, Madam Speaker, be reduced by 5.5, and the amount be relocated to purchase of computers, printers, and other IT equipment under code number 3111002 to cushion the amount slashed in the supplementary budget. Madam Speaker, to make it very clear, these are internal departmental realignments that were suggested, but they do not affect the overall vote for that specific department. So we call them internal movement. So health is requesting the 10 million for transport be slashed to 5.5, and the difference of 4.5 be reallocated to purchase of computers, printers, and other IT equipment. Under agriculture, that the Kenya shillings 2 million allocated for purchase of motorcycles, proposed for reduction by 1 million in the supplementary budget. The motorbikes had been procured, Madam Speaker, but the money that was meant to pay for these motorbikes, 2 million, was slashed in the supplementary. So the department is requesting that the 1 million that has been slashed be returned back to the department so that they are able to pay for the motorbikes because they had been procured. And that is subject to approval by this House. Number 4, public service, county administration, participatory development, and office of the governor. Their request, number 1, that the Kenya shillings 6.94 million slashed from the allocation for disaster management be retained to facilitate effective response especially during the season of flood catastrophe. Madam Speaker, the money for disaster had been slashed by 6.94. So the department was requesting that we make sure that the money gets back to them because of the long rains that are coming. So they wanted the money to be used for flood mitigation, which I think the committee agreed. Of course, there were requests for additional funding, which I have to report to this House that under the current fiscal constraint that we have, we were unable to get any additional money. So the committee decided that what was slashed then should be returned to them, and any other more funding for that particular program will be done in the main budget that is coming in June. And therefore, the committee agreed that we return to them the 6.9 million, and we are asking the House to approve that. B, that the Kenya shillings 5 million allocated for procurement of governor public address vehicle be used to purchase the sound system, whereas adequate funds be allocated in the next budget for purchase of state-of-the-art vehicle. Madam Speaker, there were requests that we buy a public address vehicle for the office of the governor, and also buy equipment for that specific vehicle. But due to the fiscal constraint, Madam Speaker, we only advise the department that they use the already 5 million that they have to buy the equipment, and then in 2 or 3 months, once we are done with the new budget, we'll be able to look for funds to be able to purchase the vehicle that can be used for the sound system for the governor. And now we are requesting the House to approve that. And then C, that the Kenya shilling 6 million proposed to be slashed from the 100 million allocated for court decrees and legal fees be reinstated. Madam Speaker, while deliberating with this department, the county attorney was able to sufficiently explain the conditions that they are operating under with regards to the court fees and legal fines and all the decrees. And this House is aware that every month, if not every week, our CC for finance and the chief officers are always in court or arrested, and even to some extent, they've even gone to the prison, that is Kodiaga, over these issues. And therefore, in the main budget, we had allocated 100 million to be able to sort the issues of court decrees, legal fees, and therefore, in the supplementary, the money was slashed by 6 million. And therefore, looking at the explanation that was given by the county attorney, because the legal decrease, we are now running at a tune of 2 billion. And therefore, the money we are giving them is just to be able to sustain them and to avoid going to court or to avoid being imprisoned as we look for avenues and ways for which to clear this 2 billion for decrease. And you are aware that the courts have been giving arbitrary rulings with regards to poor management. We call them poor management of contracts by the county. And that I have to let the House know. And therefore, the committee approved that the 6 million that was slashed be returned to them. D, that an additional Kenya shillings 3 or 5 million be supplemented to the county executive for P&E component of approved Kenya shillings 5,132,805,090 to bridge the expenditure deficit on payment of staff wages and salary. Madam Speaker, we have a very huge problem in this county, and it is the problem of wage bill. And we had budgeted for 5.1 to be able to meet the wage bill requirements or the HR requirements for the county, but we are in a shortfall of 305. So the proposal, the supplementary, was to add 105. But the director HR and the team have been here severally. We equally invited them for the last meeting, and we've realized that we have a shortfall of 305 million so that we are able to pay salaries for workers up to 30th of June, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, in as much as the committee have a problem with our wage bill, and we know that there have been several attempts to do what we call the staff audit, we are not convinced if the county is doing enough to curtail the ballooning wage bill. And therefore, because not giving them the 305 million will mean that they will not be able to pay salaries for the month of June. And therefore, the committee was pushed to the wall, but we know there is an issue with our payroll, and therefore we granted them the additional 305 million, which we are not too sure where they are going to get the money to give them 305. So as a committee, we just did our part, and we request the House to approve this money so that if it allows the executive to pay salaries up to 30th of June. And then the last one under this department is that the department be supplemented with Kenya shillings 5 million to facilitate renovation and maintenance of the governor's office. Madam Speaker, we have been told the governor's office is leaking. and you know the stature of our governor, who also is the acting party leader for the biggest or the largest party in East and Central Africa, ODM. So the office is leaking, and it is very embarrassing that we as a county have built new offices, be able to purchase posh cars for other officers, but we are not able to renovate the house of the governor. And therefore, we are requesting this house to approve 5 million for renovation of the governor's office. Number 5 is County Public Service Board. The department vote lines be realigned to as presented in the first schedule of this report in the approved supplementary budget estimates. And then B, that the department be supplemented with 4 million for finance training of new board members. Madam Speaker, we are aware that the old board is going out, their term is ending, and the process of recruiting a new public service board is ongoing. So when the board comes in, there will be training of an induction of the new board members, and therefore the acting CEO requested that they be given 4 million to be able to train and induct the new board that will be coming in. And therefore the committee was convinced that if we give them the 4 million, that will be enough. We are requesting the House also to approve that for County Public Service Board. Water, Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, that the Kenya shilling 5 million proposed cut from the allocation of waste management be reinstated. The money for waste management had been reduced by 5 million. We feel that the money should be returned so that the waste management should be able to continue. And then that the only flagship projects under FLOCA may be collapsed and reformulated to impactful projects without interfering with the world-based projects. Madam Speaker, this is what I explained under grants, that there are preconditions that if we don't meet, we are not going to get the next funding. And therefore, our projects that were forwarded to FLOCA were rejected so that we re-evaluate the projects so that they represent things that are big. They were told they want big projects. Let me use the language that we were told. So we return the list back to the department so that they are able to sit. I hear there is a climate council, and they're able to give proposals of the changes that they were making. And therefore, I will be sharing the list with the members because as I was coming here, I already have the list in my WhatsApp. So I'm saying that is subject to approval of the House. And even if we are not convinced, we can still send the list back to the department so that they're able to do the right thing, Madam Speaker. But the condition here is that the projects that are word-based in nature, Madam Speaker, should not be interfered with. Infrastructure, energy, and public works, that the 150 million allocated for Moi Stadium, out of that, the 35 million be used to pay pending payments for works done, whereas the balance be used to bridge the fiscal deficit in the budget. Madam Speaker, during a liberation, we had insisted that because we have a fiscal constraint and our budget has been reduced by 276 million, we wanted the 150 to go towards bridging the budget deficit. But again, we were informed that there are works that took place there. There's a wall that was built. There are that gates that was done. So before we take the 150, we insisted that whoever has done works at that particular stadium be paid, because we want nothing done on that stadium until we know what should be done and not these piecemeal works. So we refuse as a committee that they don't spend the 150. Let us pay whoever has done works there so that they leave. And then the remaining balance of 115 be used to meet the fiscal deficit in the budget. And that is the proposal of the committee, and we request this House to approve that. And then that Moi Stadium implementation framework be revised, with the committee recommending adoption of a multi-year implementation approach against build, operate, and transfer. That is BOT model proposed by the department. The department was proposing that they give it, they have what we call a public-private partnership, where we get an investor who is able to build the stadium. Then the investor can be able to operate it until he recoups his money and then transfer. But again, technical expert advised that a project like the stadium, that the income might not be very definite because you don't even know the number of games that will be played there. It would be very difficult to get that particular investor. And therefore, we were proposing that we do a multi-year implementation approach where we know that we want to spend, let's say, for example, 1 billion in the stadium, but we budget for it like we've done with the assembly. Every year we put something small until that day that the stadium will be able to complete, and not what is going there currently. And that is why the committee requested that any work that is going there be stopped, whoever has done some work be paid, and they leave the work so that we are able to have what we call an implementation framework. that will be able to deliver us a stadium as a county, Madam Speaker. And we request the House to approve for that too. Under Education, Technical Training, Innovation and Social Services, Madam Speaker, that the 23,790,550, which was used to settle pending bills, be reinstated. This amount was sourced from allocation for purchase of ECD learning materials and was to be compensated the supplementary budget from the 42,686,500. And let me explain this, Madam Speaker. The department used money that was meant for purchase of ECD learning materials to pay pending bills. And in their budget, they had an allocation of 42,686,500, which was meant to pay pending bills. So they thought that they were able to use this money so that they are able to return it where it should be. But in the supplementary, this money was slashed. And therefore, we are proposing that this money that was slashed, we return to the department 23,790,550 so that the department is able to purchase ECD learning materials, which is very critical for the department. And we request this House also to approve to the department that. Under the County Assembly, Madam Speaker, this House consider approving the County Assembly opening balance of Kenya shillings 139,981,020 and various budgetary reallocation adjustments on its respective vote lines of 102,055,004 to bridge the expenditure deficit as a result of CARA, which reduced the County Assembly recurrent ceiling from Kenya shillings 838,619,656 as per the approved budget to Kenya shillings 752,038,652. And this is very clear that Assembly's budget ceilings were reduced and Kisumu's was reduced from 838 to 752. And further, the CARA also reduced the special allocation. Remember, we have a new assembly, and the Senate granted a new allocation, which was called special allocation, 170 million for purchase of furniture for the new county assembly. That was also reduced, Madam Speaker, from 170 to 110. And therefore, we are requesting the House, number one, because we are now looking for monies of how to bridge the deficit. So we had pending bills also, Madam Speaker, which occasion what we call the opening balance. So in our budget by then, 30th of last year, we did not have the opening balance because the figure was not very clear. And now with the supplementary, because mostly the budget is brought here on 30th of April, and by then most countries or most departments don't have the cutoff. So by then the assembly do not have the figure of the opening balance. But now we have it, which is 139,981 and 20 shillings. So if there's anybody who had something that was done last financial year and was not paid, it was because of this money not being there. And therefore, we are requesting the assembly also to approve that so that the assembly is able to spend it. The realignments have further been escalated by the need to supplement adequate funds for staff bonding, air travel, to support committee services, especially the Budget and Appropriation Committee, and appointment to perform their mandates effectively, having exhausted their operation budget. A detailed breakdown of the County Assembly proposed supplementary budget 2024-2025 is presented in this report as the third schedule. If you have the mother report, you will see the third schedule. I'm only looking at the briefs and probably talking of what we feel is of more importance, but the more report you are able to check the third schedule. And then, Madam Speaker, we have non-financial recommendations, and these are also very important, Madam Speaker, because if you are here during the liberation of what we call the CFSP, the issues bedeviling Kisumu County are majorly three issues. One, on source; two, pending bill; and three, poor contract management. And the committee has some recommendations to be able to help on those three major issues that are bedeviling Kisumu County. And I can remember Onapeto was very clear on CFSP over the same issue. And if I read, Madam Speaker, the non-financial recommendations, one, that in subsequent submission of budget estimates, the CSCM Finance and Economic Planning and IC to ensure proposed budget estimates and supplementary budget estimates are accompanied by sufficient and detailed budget notes in line with the provision of Section 129, Part 2A of the PFM Act 2012. Further, no conditional or non-conditional grant shall be approved without the designs, work plans, and budget notes. Madam Speaker, those are very fundamental recommendations, because if you look at how the grants are submitted in this assembly, even in the last financial year, flock alone, the list that was given was very absurd one. And it is the House that forced them to do the right thing. In as much as the list that has been done is not actually approved by the council, we will still repeat it and do the right thing. Two, if you look at NAB CDP and agriculture, they only provided a block figure and did not give the list of projects to be done by that fund. Three, if you look at the Department of City, they had what we call KUSP2. They also wanted us to approve a block figure, and that is not appropriate according to PFM Act. We need to know what that money particularly is going to do, which ward, which area. And that is a condition that the committee is giving and asking this House to approve, so that in future, no departments will be giving us block figure for us to approve without a list, Madam Speaker. And then, Madam Speaker, consequently, we require budget notes, and this I will boast of the County Assembly budget. It is very clear, and if you look at that schedule that you've been told, everything is detailed. If it is 500, you are told what 500 is going to do. That executive is not doing, and is giving a challenge not only to the committee, but also to the members of this assembly. Madam Speaker, recommendation number 2, that is non-financial in nature, that the CCM Finance and Economic Planning ICT to prepare and submit the county executive procurement plan by 30th August of every financial year. Further, procurement planning for development projects must be completed within the second quarter of every financial year to permit effective implementation of a development project. Madam Speaker, this is not the first time we are recommending this as a committee. The executive is not normally willing to do this, and now we are requesting the help of the House and also with the concerned committee, so that when we have the procurement plan by 30th of August, Madam Speaker, which is the first quarter, then departments are able to plan early enough, and they are able to ensure that the BQs are done within the second quarter, and most development projects are able to run by then. It is in the what we call procurement plan that you will know which quarter has the department planned to implement that specific projects. It is detailed in the procurement plan. You will know that this project is in my ward, but the department has suggested that they are going to implement either in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, or quarter 4. That is detailed there, though the departments don't want members to know that. So we are also insisting that by 30th of August, we also want the procurement plan so that members are able to know when the departments are planned to implement their development projects. Part 3, the county to restructure its budgetary framework or the approach to prioritize allocating financial resources to the incomplete projects from the previous year and unpaid invoice projects as first charge in subsequent budgets to deliver the county from bondage of enlarging pending bill. And Madam Speaker, allow me also to explain this, that the burden of pending bill has been misused because the departments are not taking any responsibility. And because we had allowed them to create a basket of pending bill, and then with our new old accounting system that does not recognize this pending bill, meaning the departments are running away from this responsibility. So in the new budget, our plan is 1, projects that have been budgeted for and probably not implemented will be rebudgeted again, because the focus of the new budget is to complete incomplete projects. If we are moving towards electioneering period, it will be very difficult to start a new project. So we are encouraging members that in the remaining 1 financial year or 2, let us ensure that we complete the incomplete projects, so that anything that has not been completed in this financial year, we shall roll them over. So that in as much as we are rolling them over, Madam Speaker, we are also going to give a smaller allocation so that the pending bills that are already in the basket are cleared. But in the succeeding financial years, pending bill will become a function of the department. So when a pending bill is a function of the department, it then informs that it is the first charge for any amount of money that will be given to that that particular department. When that is done, then the departments become very responsible, because they know that any amount of money that they are given, if they have any pending bill, then the first thing that money will do is to pay the pending bill before it does anything. And that will make our department more responsible, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 4 is that the county attorney to implement the following strategies and intervention to train and sustain the huge pending court decrees and legal fees owed to various firms and institutions. 1, review and petition wanting judgments and ruling. Madam Speaker, we have judgments and ruling up to the tune of billions of Kenyan shillings. and the county attorney informed that the court decrees accumulation now is at 2 billion. And that is partly because of our poor legal representation and also our poor management. And therefore, we wanted the county attorney to petition these judgments and ruling so that these absurd judgments that have been ruled against the county to the tune of billions can be petitioned and reheard to arbitrate with the respective legal firms on the exorbitant legal fees charge. We've realized that we have attorneys that do these cases on behalf of Kisumu County, and these are attorneys that are within the frame. Some of them have exorbitant legal fee, and therefore, as a committee, we are reporting to the House that we need the county attorney to arbitrate with these legal firms so that they are able to renegotiate those fees. Part C is categorize the consolidated data for unpaid court decrees from legal fees to determine whether the legal firms owed have prudently represented the county for subsequent decision making. We have legal firms that want county to pay them for offering their services, Madam Speaker. But we realize that some of this legal fee are for most cases that Kisumu County lost. So in one case we have lost and there is a decree against Kisumu County. So we are supposed to pay the aggrieved party, who is, let's say, the contractor. On the other side, we have the attorney who held the case on behalf of the county also looking for his legal fee, Madam Speaker. So we realize, Madam Speaker, that we need to categorize so that we know what is legal fee and we know what is court decree. Because in their report, they lumped together legal fee plus the court decrees together. And even in the 100 million that we are giving them, you realize that they are paying both legal fee and court decrees together. So the committee wished to ask this House to compel them so that they are able to separate what is legal fee and what are court decrees, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, D is hire competent advocates who can effectively represent the county on legal matters without failing to show up on relevant court sessions. We also realize that the reason why there are a lot of court decrees against Kisumu County, we have legal firms that don't show up in court, and we have lawyers that don't show up. So when your Kisumu County lawyer doesn't show up, then the aggrieved party has the freeway to win, and that is what has been happening. And then E is consult and seek the court guidance on the county inability to pay their accrued bills due to the current constraint of fiscal space. When a firm has been given a decree of 1.2 billion, 1.2 billion is what Kisumu County gets for 2 months, Madam Speaker. So we wanted to ask ourselves if we should seek guidance, and we are asking the attorney to seek guidance from the court that we are unable to pay this court decrees up to the tunes of billions of shillings, because it means that to some months we will not be able to pay our staff. If our P&E is 5.6 billion, Madam Speaker, and then we have court decrees up to the tune of 2-point-something billion, meaning half of our salaries will be going to court decrees. So we need to renegotiate so that we ask the court what will be the process in circumstances where the county is not able to pay. Because remember, county also gets money from the national government, which doesn't include the court decrees in them. F is build a strong rapport with the judges for harmonious relationship. We have instances where we had very bad relationship with the judges, and therefore we are asking our county attorney to build good rapport. And part G, submit to the assembly the implementation status of the recommendation contained herein within 2 months of adoption of this report. And therefore I request the relevant committee of implementation to help us in doing the follow-up. Then number 5, financial recommendation. The county treasurer to submit to the assembly special office of the auditor general special audit report on the county's fiscal position by May 2025, and the HR audit report within 2 weeks of adoption of this report. Aware that there was an HR audit that was going on and a special audit, we need those reports to be given to the assembly so that we are able to scrutinize. And then part 6, the county treasury jointly with the Department of Infrastructure, Energy and Public Works to cause an immediate closure of the commercial machine-based program account and formulate better strategies for the administration and management of the machine-based program, and present a progress report to the county assembly, sectoral committee on infrastructure, energy and public works within 1 month of adoption of this report. We realized that we had given money for machine-based, Madam Speaker, and machine-based, then the department went ahead and opened a bank account at the commercial bank. And therefore, that has hindered the implementation of this machine-based because it has become a cash cow. Once money is transferred to that account, the money is not doing what it's supposed to do. These monies are ending up in the pockets of individuals, Madam Speaker. And therefore, we wanted to report this to the House so that we compel the department to close that account because the program of base is indeed a very noble program, Madam Speaker. If the right formulation is done, it will be able to do the roads because doing the roads contract way, it is much expensive. And it is the machine base that is able to support the program so that more kilometers of road are done. And therefore, we're requesting the House that we compel the department to close that account at the commercial bank. And then part 7, due to the constant county assembly location on public participation, as recommended with CRA, let me explain this part 7 is that every year, Madam Speaker, we have to negotiate with the executive on how much money we are getting per ward. But now, in this scenario where we have a governor that is very responsive, a governor that is listening, a governor that is development-oriented, we are able to always agree most of the time. But we should be making laws for posterity, Madam Speaker. We should be making laws for the future. And therefore, the committee is requesting that we also ensure that we domesticate our own county allocation of revenue so that we have a formula that allocates money that goes to Kajulu, that goes to Kambonyo Kanyagwal, and we do not have the intervention of the governor to decide what goes there. And we're also asking the House to help us push for that so that every year, irrespective of your political stand, money is able to go to your house, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, number 8, the CCM Finance Economic Planning ICT jointly with the counterparts of Public Service, County Administration, Participatory Development, and the Office of the Governor, Lands and Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development to mediate and solve the following challenges facing municipalities, Madam Speaker. 1, lack of vehicles, pending allowances, municipality headquarters, HR shortages, delineation of function and responsibility for the municipalities, market management committee and administrators to address administrative conflicts, and submit a comprehensive report to the Assembly before submission of the next financial year estimate and for consideration. Madam Speaker, we realize that our municipalities are suffering. We had transferred functions to the municipalities, but the municipalities have not picked. They don't have vehicles to move. They don't have offices. They don't have staff, and there is conflict of functions. We have department cleaning markets, we have city cleaning markets, we have market cleaning within the municipality. So we want clear delineation of functions. And then 2, to be able to operationalize these municipalities, Madam Speaker, it is important to give them mobility vehicles so that the municipal managers are able to do their functions. 2, there are meetings that are taking place, but they are not being paid allowances. And that is very discouraging. So the CC Finance assured that they are going to ensure that all the allowances are paid. But we are saying in future, let us give the municipalities independent accounts because it is the mother department of lands that is infringing on the rights of these people. Once they have money because of the AIE, they give considerations to other things and they don't let the money flow to the municipalities. And therefore, we need a comprehensive report so that they are able to solve all this. And then part 9, the county government of Kisumu to establish the county municipalities as semi-autonomous entities. And that's what I was explaining with independent budgets in the next financial year. And then further, the municipalities be allocated funds for cleaning of markets within their jurisdiction in the next financial year budget estimates, whereas the Department of Trade, Tourism, Industry and Markets to continue with cleaning of markets located outside the municipalities and outside the city, Madam Speaker. And then 11, the county treasury in consultation with the respective department tasked with the responsibility to manage and coordinate FLOCA and KDSP grants to ensure that the county assembly is integrated in the programs as defined in the project concept notes and work plans. We have money for training members. That is both for FLOCA and KDSP. KDSP is Kenya Devolution Support Program. But these monies are meant also to ensure that they support what we call oversight and capacity building. But they are doing that to the executive, but they are not doing it to the assembly. So we task the CC Finance to ensure that these monies also comes to the assembly when it's meant for training, and what is meant to the assembly should ensure it comes to the assembly. If it is training, let them also train members of the assembly, Madam Speaker. And then 12, the CCM Finance, Economic Planning and ICT to consult and collaborate with CRA to assist the county develop award resource allocation formula to enhance fair and equitable resource distribution in the county to be pilot in the next financial year. And that is what I was trying to explain earlier on. And then the last one, that the CCM finance and economic planning to enforce compliance to the relevant legal frameworks violated on our review of the compliance with various relevant legal provisions, guidelines on the preparation of the supplementary budget for a effective public expenditure management, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, after those very long recommendations, it is my pleasure and undertaking on behalf of the County Budget and Appropriation Committee to table this report in this House and recommend it for adoption, Madam Speaker. And therefore move the motion and call upon the Vice Chair of the committee, Honorable Wariundu, to second. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Geoffrey Warindu. Honorable members, a motion on adoption of report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the consideration of the Kisumu County Supplementary Estimate number 1 for financial year 2024-2025 has been presented and seconded. I want to propose a question, and I propose that the motion on adoption of the report of Budget and Appropriation Committee on the consideration of the Kisumu County Supplementary Estimates number 1 for the financial year 2024-2025 is open for debate. Yes, Honorable Nyaoke.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support the adoption of this report, being also a fundamental, and our standing orders also provides the same. I want to thank the committee for budget and appropriations who have done their job as mandated by PFM Act and the relevant standing orders in scrutinizing this very important document, Madam Speaker. However, I wish to make some observations, particularly on the issues of consideration that were given to various departmental heads or departmental requests that they made before in the several sittings that we made. Madam Speaker, if I start with particularly where my ward is mentioned, that is under trade, tourism, marketing, and industry, we did have some training and that is capacity building and training on entrepreneurship, which I want to say was something that was highly appreciated by the members who were picked, the traders who underwent this particular exercise, Madam Speaker. Now, I can see there was a request from the department to do what is called reappropriation of that particular item. But my prayer is that they should consider, because we are still planning to have this one done. The traders are so many and they are on our neck that most of them also need the same training, Madam Speaker. So this is something that I would appreciate if the department would consider going with. The other thing to mention, Madam Speaker, is on the Public Service, County Administration, Participatory Development and Office of the Governor. Madam Speaker, we did talk to them during the previous sittings that we were meeting the other sectoral heads or members. And there was an issue about disaster management. Madam Speaker, having by the virtue that I also come from an area that is normally affected by flood disaster, Madam Speaker, we did talk quite a lot during the meeting, and we actually, I'm also on record having pushed for and having requested that this money which was slashed, the 6.94 million that was slashed, to be returned, because the rainy season is already with us. And indeed, we also made an appeal on behalf of the department that this House also consider to allocate some more funds for such preparedness, Madam Speaker. I'm happy to say that that amount which was slashed has been taken back, and I implore upon my fellow members to approve, even though it is little, but at least there's something little that we can start with instead of having nothing. Madam Speaker, secondly, and most importantly, we did talk about during the meeting previously about the status of the governor's public address system. Madam Speaker, we go to, and we actually visit many counties, and we see the nation kind of public address system that they do have. If you compare with ours in Kisumu County, Madam Speaker, we have deprived our governor on some of the fundamental rights and items that he's supposed to be using, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that our own governor, now Professor Peter Nyong'o, now is still the acting party leader. And as such, with the ongoing elections, or the party elections in various sub-counties and so on and so forth, we are likely to follow it up with several rounds of meetings and so on and so forth. And apparently our governor, who couples up as the acting deputy and acting party leader, is having no proper public address system. But Speaker, I'm happy that we talked about this, and I can see even the 5 million that was already, which was being prevailed, has now been allocated to buy a state-of-the-art equipment, waiting for us to appropriate accordingly the vehicle that shall be used with this particular equipment. But Speaker, otherwise, I wish to stop there and support for the adoption of the report. Thank you.
Honorable Obaso.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me also rise to support this motion. Madam Speaker, let me start by commending the committee for a job well done for this report. And secondly, I think it's a good report that make adjustments on how this county want to move forward. And one thing that, besides the good thing that he has, that has really caught my eye, is the amount that have been reserved for disaster management in this county. I think we have the long rains that are coming, and it started a while back, and mostly our people have been affected. And so I want to believe that the department won't give us so many excuses, and it's upon them now to start preparing and attend to our people that are affected. Just recently, Kolwa Central was really affected, and many of our people all lost some properties and their homes. So I think now the department won't have excuses on this issue. Secondly, Madam Speaker, I've been impressed by the amount that was allocated for Moi Stadium, 150 million. And it has been taken to cater for that deficit that was in this budget. And I'm very happy for that. I think Moi Stadium has been a cash cow for some individuals. And this money, what we allocate cannot count for what we see there. So I think that's another also area that is that we should mention. Lastly, Madam Speaker, we've seen an increase in wage bill, and I think that has been mentioned by my colleague, our able budget here, that there is a human resource audit that is taking place. So I think that report should be presented to us so that we also have to know what is skyrocketing this wage bill. So I think through that we will, we can, after all, we can have a conclusion on that issue. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to support.
I'm not able to spot. Okay, Honorable Benny Oikopete.
Madam Speaker, the chair budget today has presented a report that shows he also has the oversight role to play. And that is congratulations on the committee for the work they have done. Because, Madam Speaker, when a report is presented before this House, we must look for the pros and the cons. That is when our role will be seen that we merit being in this House. This is supplementary budget which has come about because of the cuts in the budget, in the executive, and in the assembly. We had no otherwise but to do the necessary so that we move on. But let the national government know that the money that comes to the country government is little, and they remain with the bulk of the resources. When it becomes necessary to reduce the budget, let them think of reducing the budget at their level. And the mere 15% that the 47 counties get, they should not interfere with. When you get little, the little you have been given is again cut. Development will not flow as was planned, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, the recommendations made in this report, when I look at page 9, are very good recommendations. Now what remains is the follow-up to see that the executive abides by the recommendation brought before us that we are going to pass. Madam Speaker, the procurement plan, we are being told that by 30th August of every financial year, should be submitted to this assembly. And it is normal that the budget committee has made several recommendations, and then who follows these recommendations to see that the implementation is done. Like this one of procurement plan. Which committee will follow it? Is it the budget committee? Is it the finance committee? Or the implementation committee? So that we don't simply pass this kind of good programs to help this country. I wish they could have stated here that the finance committee to follow that the procurement plan is done by 30th of August in every financial year, so that we take the executive to task on their role, and implementation of projects are not merely delayed. I hope the chair will address that. Because, Madam Speaker, the situation we are in now, it is now that procurement is going on, and we are only left with 3 months to end of financial year. There is apathy with the contractors. They will not be paid. They will not finish the projects. And with this, with the rains that are now too much in every part of the country. Another matter, Madam Speaker, is a matter of the legal fees. This matter of legal fees, we are being told that the pending bill in this department is about 2 billion, but it may be more than 2 billion, Madam Speaker. And who causes this? It is not this department. It is a government departments that fail in their work. After they have failed in their work, the office of the county attorney comes in when the matter is in court. And there's an element of blaming the lawyers engaged by the county government. When you don't provide good evidence to the lawyer, and you have engaged the lawyer, be assured that you will lose the case. And when you lose the case because you did not provide good materials for the lawyer to handle your case, the blame comes back to you. So I think that is where Kisumu County is. They do their things haphazardly. When the matter goes to court, the plaintiff finds them on the wrong side, and judgment is made in favor of the plaintiff. So, we must go deep to find out what role are these lawyers engaged by the county playing to the county? And what about the office of the county attorney? With those, when we look at that, Madam Speaker, we shall be realistic. And this element of building a strong rapport with the judges for harmonious relationship will not help. Because these are people who are doing their business. When they feel offended, when they feel that the county has not done their part and they have done their part, they will go to court. And the court will have to make a fair judgment. So it is Kisumu County government to up its work. Madam Speaker, on conditional grants, the committee is right. Let us not just approve budgets because they are presented to us. When there are conditional grants, let us get what are they going to do? What projects are earmarked? And when we are satisfied, then let us pass budgets for conditional grants. Flocker was passed here in block. NAB-CDP was also passed in block. And now we are lamenting. And members, we must be keen on this. And that is when our people will get value for these grants. Otherwise, we shall be told by the end of the financial year in stories, the way the agriculture department brought it, SACCOs, cooperative societies, and no member can say that these are the SACCOs, these are the cooperative societies that have benefited from my ward. So let us be keen on this, so that even if there is deficit on on-source revenue, we know that the other sources of funds that we got, we have made good use of. Madam Speaker, I've also seen on the county assembly that they were given some money, and those monies have been cut by the Senate. We hope that next time they will not do that to us. And also when a budget has come like this, like the equalization fund, which some wards benefited from in the last financial year. And this financial year, the equalization fund of 23,603,602. And the wards, because the 3 months to the end of financial year, have the wards that are supposed to benefit from this fund been allotted? And what has been done? Nothing so far has been done, Madam Speaker. Because things are taken for granted, the budget has been passed. Like my ward is a beneficiary of equalization fund. And what the executive should engage us on, how we should ask for more on equalization fund. Because many countries are benefiting abundantly from equalization fund. And this is money from the national government. Madam Speaker, when I go to page 20, I'm seeing on the budget of the County Assembly of Kisumu, allocation for minority leader, deputy minority leader, and I've never heard of any minority leadership in this assembly, Madam Speaker. I wish the chair budget will explain more on that. Madam Speaker, when I also look at the budget of the Kisumu County Assembly, on page 21, I'm seeing a cool 40 million for public participation. See how lucrative it is. So when we raised this in Nairobi, Sultan, you are not there, the controller budget said is not aware of any cap on public participation. And in her lecture to the members, she talked of increasing public participation. More public participation should be there. And I think that is why this 40 million is in the budget. But I wonder how much we have benefited from it. Madam Speaker, I so contribute.
Honorable James Were from Nyalenda B.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, judging by the mood of this House, may I call upon the mover to reply? Thank you.
Honorable Jackie Mokech from Kondele Ward.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to, first of all, thank the members for their educative contribution. The members have been very positive and they are giving very wise recommendation. Madam Speaker, I also want to agree with my brother, Honorable Benny Pete, that there should be more public participation. I have been one person who really supports public participation. And therefore, I want to assure the honorable member that I will be the first person to support increment of money that gears towards public participation. And I think with the light that was given by the COB, I think it would be very prudent that in our next budget, we put in more money so that we are able to benefit for doing a lot of public participation. And I also agree with him, Madam Speaker, on the issue of grants. The executive have been taking not only the committee of budget, but the House for granted. Because there is no way they will be insisting that we pass the block figure. And this, I want to take it back to the sectoral committees. And Benipet, I hope you agree with me. Because, you know, the interrogation of budget starts from the sectoral committee. So the budget committee only receive reports from these different sectors. I think when these sectoral committees that benefit for grants in nature, like agriculture, they should be able to pin down the department to give them the list, because this project should benefit different wards. And therefore, I'm also a proponent of that, and I believe that we as a house, and I believe going forward, we should never approve any grant that we don't have a specific list. On the issue of legal fee, I also agree it could be more than 2 billion, because we even have recent cases that are probably the decree, and I had a very famous one of 1.2. So if we tally with what we already have, Madam Speaker, Kisumu County will be in crisis in future. And this legal fee, just like I said before, we have so many failures. One, I think what I said earlier, contract management, that is the executive. When somebody has worked, need to pay. If you don't pay, the contractor goes to court. When he goes to court, our legal representative fail to appear. When they fail to appear, the judge makes a ruling in the absence of our legal team. When now we have big decrees, then we start shouting. So I believe it's a component of so many failures from the executive. And that is why we are putting to task the new county attorney to be able to cushion the county, because that is the only person we can go and cry to, Madam Speaker, as an assembly, so that they are able to have one competent legal officers who are responsible enough and are able to appear in courts to represent the county. And two, we are now trying to help the county sort the issues of pending bill. And that one, I want these members or their house to support us. If we don't make pending bill a function of the department, then these issues of contractors going to court will continue to be there. The main function of a department is that you provide work to these people. If somebody has work, you pay. If you don't pay, then it should become a first charge in your next budget. So in the next budget, if you have money, first pay whoever work that has not been paid. And then second, now implement new projects. And that is why we are now working in a borderline. One, trying to clear what is in the bin of spending bill. But again, now trying to remodel our system so that we normally rebudget what was not done. And in future, once we are done with clearing the pending bill in the basket, then the departments will be able to rebudget what has not been done. And then in their main budget, they are able to pay whoever was not paid within their own budgets. And that will make the department very responsible. And I hope in future, we will not be having contractors going to court, because issues of payment will be a function of the department. A department that is not paying a contractor will get less money for development, because most money will first pay contractors. And lastly, I just also agree with my brother Benny that the national government, and this I even heard from our party leader, Honorable Raila, that the national government is still retaining a lot of money that is meant for devolution. And I'm not criticizing, but I'm just saying the truth. When you see national government officers launching markets, when you see them doing functions that belong to the county, these monies should come to the counties. And therefore, I believe that the government should move giving the devolution money up from the 15% probably to 25%. And that I also agree. On this recommendation, I also have to reiterate. Of course, Mheshimiwa was trying to challenge me so that I give the specific committee that should be followed. I just wish I had that authority to be able to give instruction. But I also believe with you, like there's a recommendation that we have now given for the third year running. And this recommendation of a procurement plan. the executive is not willing to give us a procurement plan. So it's like there's something in procurement plan that they don't want the members to see. And I insist, and we need to get the next financial year as an example, that by 30th of August, and we will take that responsibility as a budget committee, so that we are able to invite the CC here, so that we know where is the procurement plan, because it is in the procurement plan that there is a detailed information of the process of implementation of different programs. It is there that the department has given their programs and when they are going to implement them in terms of different quarters. And so I believe that we need to follow up. On the others, Mr. Benny, I believe that is the House will advise through the Office of the Speaker so that they are able to help us on following so that we don't have clash of functions within different committees. So something that belongs to finance, I think that the Speaker and the House Business will be able to advise, and what belongs to implementation committee, I also believe that they will be able to advise accordingly. The other honorable members just applauded us, Honorable Basso, about the disaster money. In as much as I agree it's not enough, but because of the constraint, and the same was reiterated by Honorable Nyauke, we only gave them what had been slashed. But I believe, you know, disaster mitigation starts a little bit earlier before we have emergencies. And I believe in the next budget, if the CC is able to provide a comprehensive plan, then as a committee, we are able to help them appropriate more money to geared toward the same function. And I also believe whatever has been given is very little, but let them survive with what we have given as we work towards giving more money for the department. And therefore, I believe that the others were just applauding the Moi Stadium money. Just like I said, let them pay whoever has done works there. And then now let us have a comprehensive plan of how we are going to implement the stadium, as opposed to the piecemeal job going there where you are constructing a booth to the stadium, but a booth to a stadium that is not there. And therefore, I want to applaud this House to support this recommendation so that we are able to adopt this report. And therefore, Madam Speaker, with all these many recommendations and comments from the members, I beg to reply. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, now that the motion on adoption of the report of Budget and Appropriation Committee on the consideration of the Kisumu County Supplementary Estimates number 1 for the financial year 2024-2025 has been presented, seconded, and debated, I want to put a question, and I put that as many as of the opinion that the motion on the adoption of the report of Budget and Appropriation Committee on the consideration of the Kisumu Supplementary Estimates number 1 for the financial year 2024-2025 as presented and deliberated upon be adopted, say aye. As many as of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. And the motion on the adoption of the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the consideration of the Kisumu County Supplementary Estimates number 1 for the financial year 2024-2025 has been adopted today, Wednesday, 9th April 2025 at 16:05. And I direct that the recommendations of this report and that of the House debate be forwarded to the relevant department for action. Next order.
Order number 9, the Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025 by Honorable Jackie Mukesh.
Honorable Jackie Mukesh, the Chair Budget and Appropriation Committee, and also MCA Kondele Ward.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd wish to move that the Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill of 2025 be read for the first time.
Mr. Clerk, proceed.
The Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025, a bill for an act of the County Assembly of Kisumu to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the county revenue fund and their application towards the services of the year ending on the 30th June 2025, and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes. Memorandum of Objects and Reasons. The Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2024 makes provision for giving statutory sanction for public expenditure for the year ending on the 30th June 2025 on the basis of the estimates of expenditure for financial year 2024-2025 recurrent, and the estimates of expenditure for financial year 2024-2025 development, and for the appropriation for those amounts, dated the 8th April 2025 by Honorable Joachim Okech, Chairperson Budget and Appropriation Committee. And here the bill has been read for the first time, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 10, the Kisumu County Supplemented Appropriation Bill 2025 by Honorable Joachim Okech.
Honorable Joachim Okech.
Once again, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish again to move that Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025 be read for the second time.
Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable members, the Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025, a bill for an act of the County Assembly of Kisumu to authorize the issue of a certain sums of money out of the County Revenue Fund and their application toward the services of the year ending on the 30th June 2025, and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes. Memorandum of Objects and Reasons. The Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2024 makes provisions for giving statutory sanction for public expenditure for the year ending on the 30th June 2025 on the basis of the estimates of expenditure for financial year 2024-2025 recurrent, and the estimates of expenditure for financial 2024-2025 development, and for the appropriations of those amounts, dated the 8th April 2025 by Honorable Joachim Okech, Chairperson Budget and Appropriation Committee. And here the bill has been read for the second time. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair, Budget and Appropriation, Honorable Joachim Okech.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm soon changing my names to have Honorable Swaga also included. Madam Speaker, the bill having been read for the second time, I'd wish to propose that we resort to the Committee of the Whole House. And I want to request Honorable Adega to second.
Honorable Adega.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I second.
Honorable Were to approach the chair before we revert.
Members, order. We are now in the committee of the whole house. And Chair.
Thank you very much, the chairperson of the whole house. And Mr. Chair, I will wish to move that we go the guillotine way. And in that, I also want to request the Vice Chair, Honorable Warindu, also to second that we go the guillotine way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair. I second.
Thank you, members. Now that the Chair, Budget and Appropriation, has proposed that we go guillotine way and seconded by the Vice Chair, Honorable Warindu, I now put a question that this House adopts the proposal of going the guillotine way. For as many of the same opinion say aye, so many of the contrary opinions say nay. Okay, let us go guillotine way. The proposal is adopted. Thank you, honorable members. Going by the standing order number 126, in considering a bill in the committee, the various parts thereof shall be considered in the following sequence. One, that clauses as printed, excluding the clauses providing for the citation of the bill, the commencement, if any, and the interpretation. B, new clauses. C, schedules. D, new schedules. E, interpretation. F, preamble, if any. G, long title. And H, the clauses providing for the citation of the bill and the commencement. Chair, anything with the comments made?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, you've given us the procedure to follow, and the first one should be the clauses, right? And because we are going the guillotine way, on clauses, we only have changes on clause number 3 and clause number 4. And members, if you have the bill, that is the first page. So on the first page, the numbering, those are clauses. So clause number 3, and if you allow me to read, Mr. Chair, that the sum granted by, it's written section 2. That should not be section 2, but it should read the sum granted by clause 2 shall be appropriated for the several services and purposes specified in the second column of the first schedule, in the amount specified in the third column of that schedule. And also in clause 4, and allow me to read, Mr. Chair, that again, in addition to the sum granted by clause 2 and not section 2, the sum specified in the fourth column of the first and second schedule shall be applied for the several services and purposes specified in the second column of those schedules, out of the revenue directed to be applied outside the county revenue fund under Article 207, Part 1, 2 of the Constitution. And those are the only changes on clauses, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Any seconder to the proposal made by the chair? Chair, who is seconding?
Let me call on the Vice Chair. I can see Honorable Sami is not a member of the committee, but he's a very good friend. Remind me, you said you're a permanent friend. Permanent committee of the committee. Thank you. So let's allow the Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I second.
Thank you, honorable members. Now that the proposal on amendment on clause Thank you, honorable members. Now that the proposal on amendment on clause 3 and 4 have been proposed by the chair and seconded by the vice chair, the amendment was done from section to clause. It was reading section 2, is now changed to clause 2. So I just want to put a question that for that the I'm putting a question that for the amendment of clause 3 and 4 to be part of the bill, as many of the same opinions say yeah, aye. As many of the contrary opinions say nay, the ayes have it, and the amendment is considered to be part of the bill. Thank you. Chair, new clauses.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we don't have any amendment on new classes from the committee. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, not Mr. Speaker. Chair. Mr. Chair, schedules. Schedules, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We also don't have any amendments on the schedules from the committee. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, new schedules.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We don't have any new schedule from the committee. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, interpretation.
Similarly, Mr. Chair, no amendments on interpretation of the bill.
Mr. Chair, preamble, if any.
And again, Mr. Chair, we don't have any amendment on the preamble also from the committee.
Chair, long title.
And Mr. Chair, no amendment on the long title from the committee.
Mr. Chair, the clauses providing for the citation of the bill and the commencement.
And also no amendments on clauses for citation of the bill from the committee, Mr. Chair. Memorandum of
Thank you, members. I just want to propose a question that clause 1 to up to 5 to be part of the bill. As many of that opinion say aye, as many of the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it, and clause 1 to 5 has become part of the bill. Thank you, members. I want to propose a question that memorandum of objects and reasons be part of the bill. As many of the same opinion say ayes, As many of the contrary opinions say nays, the ayes have it, and the memorandum of objects and reasons has become part of the bill. Any further amendment to the bill, Mr. Chair?
From the chair, we don't have any further amendment from the bill. Just allow me to make a clarification, Mr. Chair, and, so that members understand what we are doing. Members, what we have here are the different vote heads that are going to different departments. Remember, I said that you approve 15.3 billion that is revenue to the county. So this revenue has been divided into two, that is recurrent and development, which I read earlier, and then also the grants. So the grants that are recurrent in nature have been taken to recurrent, and the grants that develop in nature have been taken to development. Then remember the 15.3 billion was divided into different departments. And then again, when you divide it into different departments have divided the money into different vote lines. So we are simply approving the different votes for different departments so that they are able to get the money. And therefore, if you look at the figures that we are talking about here, it will match with what we were reading at the report stage. And therefore, that is why we don't have any amendments in most of the bill, because we had agreed on the figures and the figures have been transferred to the bill without any changes. And that is why everything has no amendments. Otherwise, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Honorable members, now that we are through with the bill and the changes therein, now I put a question for adoption that the bill be adopted with the changes therein. For as many of the same opinion say aye, for as many of the contrary opinion say nays, the ayes have it, and now the changes are adopted. Mr. Chair, come.
Thank you very much, Chair. I would like to move that we revert back to the, is it to the plenary? Thank you. And I want Honorable Dega to second.
Thank you, Chair. I second.
Honorable members, I want to invite the chair of the whole committee to give us the feedback. Honorable James Were.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we reverted to the committee of the whole house. And Madam Speaker, I want to report that during the committee of the whole house, there were some amendments that were done to the bill in clause 3 and 4, which stated that there are supposed to be clauses instead of section. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, we want to adopt the changes, and I put a question. As many as of the contrary opinion say aye. I repeat, members, listen very carefully. Attention, honorable members. Okay, we want to adopt the changes, and I put a question. As many as the opinion that the changes be adopted say aye. As many as the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Order number 11, the Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025, by third reading by Honorable Jackie Mokech.
Yes, Honorable Jackie Mokech, Chair Budget.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish to move that Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill of 2025 be read for the third time.
Mr. Clerk, proceed.
The Kisumu Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025, a bill for an act of the County Assembly of Kisumu to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the County Revenue Fund and their application towards the services of the year ending on the 30th June 2025, and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes. Memorandum of Objects and Reasons. The Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2024 makes provisions for giving statutory sanction for public expenditure for the year ending on the 30th June 2025 on the basis of the estimates of expenditure for financial year 2024-2025, recurrent, and the estimates of expenditure for financial year 2024-2025 development, and for the appropriation of those amounts, dated the 8th April 2025, by Honorable Jackie Mokech, Chairperson, Budget and Appropriation Committee. Thank you, Madam Chair. And now the bill has been read for the third time.
Honorable members, Now that the bill has been read for the third time, is there any proposal for changes?
Madam Speaker, I'd wish to report that from the committee, we don't have any proposed changes. Thank you.
Honorable members, and today, Wednesday, 9th April 2025, the Kisumu County Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025 has been passed at 16:39 p.m. And I direct that the bill plus the Hansard report be taken to the governor for action. Thank you. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable members. There is no any other business for a transaction.
Honorable members, there is no any other business before this honorable house. Therefore, the house stand adjourned till tomorrow, Thursday, 10th April 2025 at 2:30 p.m.